9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast, Baseball Family. I am Brad, and as always, I'm joined by our guy Brig. How are you now?
What's up? I'm doing fine.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
What I should have said was, oh, not so bad. And you?
Oh, good, and you? Oh, not so bad. Anyway, so.
Oh my gosh, I suck at that. Okay, go ahead.
That's all right. That's all right.
Pitter patter, Brad.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her. All right. Well, there's a lot going on. We're a day late, but we are not a buck short. We're just gonna get into it.
$3 short. Fine.
Whatever. You might be.
I am. I'm not talking about you, Brad. I'm $3 short. It's
All
fine.
right. Well, anyways, we've got the Yankees in a free fall right now. Not a free for all. It's a free fall.
Whoa.
And then we're gonna go through what?
We will resurrect them a little bit.
Hey, you know what? I'm just here to tell the facts. That's all.
Fine.
Mixed with opinion. Facts mingled with opinion. That's what we're gonna do here. But anyways, so
Okay,
here we go.
perfect.
And then we're going to get into a new segment that we're going to be doing. We're going to spread this out over a long time. We're going to do this for every major league team. We're going to do Mount Rushmores. So we're going to start today with, speaking of which, the New York Yankees.
That's right.
All right, let's get started. Brig, you got something on here called Moxie. Who's got Moxie?
Moxie, listen, I have to thank Bill Skabeski. Okay, he's a member of our VIP private Facebook group for this gem here. Now, for those of you watching you on YouTube, you'll see me holding up a bright red can of Moxie soda. We talked about this on the podcast not long ago, and Bill listened in and decided he could probably afford me this opportunity.
Nice.
So he sent it in, and I'm going to read you the publisher's, the company's description, okay?
Okay.
And then I'm going to try it for the very first time right here on the show.
Oh,
It's
nice.
very exciting.
That is exciting. Very exciting.
All right, so first of all, some of the backstory. Is this not the product that was endorsed by Ted Williams? Right? This is the cola,
Okay, yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Anyway, here's what the description from the company says. Moxie has the distinction of being described as both a great tasting soda and an acquired taste. However you describe it, one thing is for sure. It takes a special kind of Moxie to try it for the first time and to love it forever. Live your life with Moxie. Buy some.
All right, there we go.
And I thought, yeah, it's a really audacious, some audacious ad copy there. So I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I've just popped the top, and I'm going to try this now.
It does take some actual moxie from the company to say it's delicious, but it's an acquired taste. That's not something I would buy typically. Something that's described as an acquired taste. So, how is it?
It's terrific.
What kind of flavor is it? Is it like a cola or like a root beer? Something completely different?
It definitely has cola going on.
Okay.
But behind it and floating up from the rear is something that can only be described as, I want to say sassafras, but I just
almost like
am not confident
almost
in
like
that
a
yet.
sarsaparilla.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's something else. I should look up a flavor profile.
There you
It
go.
even says distinctly different. That is literally what it says on the can. Moxie.
Huh.
Distinctly different.
One of those.
And you know what? That might be the most accurate description I can come up with, and I do words. Words, that's my thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well done, Moxie.
One of those things
This-
where they just can describe it as uniquely different. It's repetitive and redundant.
Yes, yes. Without being guilty of any poopy pantsery whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, very excited to have this experience. Thanks, Bill.
Very
Appreciate
cool.
it. And Bill and I, we discussed letting you have this experience too, Brad, and sending you some, but we just decided it would be better to rub it in your face.
That's
so I'm going to
fine.
sip on this throughout the remainder of the show and I just need you to sit there just wishing you were having this experience
That's
with me,
just
but
fine.
can't.
That's just fine because I have my own beverage. It's a non-adult beverage that.
What are you talking
honestly,
about? Moxie being an adult beverage?
No, I'm just saying.
There's an adult on the beverage though, of the Moxie can.
I'm just
There's a
clarifying
man.
that I have
There's a man in a tie pointing at you. It's just terrific.
I was just clarifying that I have an unnamed beverage in my cup that happens to not be an adult drink. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Unnamed though. You just gonna dangle that in front of us? Very good.
Well,
Very good.
until they decide to pay me to say it, I'm not going to. So how's that?
Ooh. Ooh. You're right. This delightful beverage, I am not being paid to say anything about, but they should pay us though. This is pretty good.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's also good content. So
Thanks, Bill.
all right.
It is.
So
Okay.
something I wanted to do today was I wanted to check in on the standings. They're a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Perhaps painful.
well, for some, because we did our kind of our halfway checkpoint just like 2 weeks ago, right? And we're like, oh, we've got a pretty good idea of what's going on, who's gonna make it, how things are gonna go, and then of course, it like just everything got jumbled up. It's like all the standings got put in a blender. And I mean, you still got the White Sox on top of the Central. You've got the Indians right there with them, but the Twins are falling a little bit. The Rays pretty much own the AL East.
I know. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them, yeah. But then you've got the Blue Jays who are surging, like right on their heels, 3.5 games back. And then the Yankees, like I said, in a free fall, currently 500, 21-21, 6.5 back of the Rays. And they're fighting for a wild card spot.
Yeah, they are. And you know what is so funny to me? I was talking to a friend of mine, Lindsay, about this. And the Blue Jays are currently the best team in New York.
Yes, they are. They sure are. Yeah.
And that's a lot. We should take a minute and just appreciate that.
Well, and it's funny because I told one of my buddies, this was probably 10 years ago now, the Blue Jays were pretty good back then, but you still had the Red Sox and the Yankees owned the AL East. I was like, really the only way the Blue Jays are going to be able to make the playoffs or win the division is if they switch to the NL. It's like because they would have won the NL East like years over in a row at that point.
For sure.
But then they weren't even making the playoffs because they had the Red Sox and the Yankees to compete with. But I mean, at this point, who knows? They could catch the Rays with the way they're playing because, like you've been saying, they're so young and so good. They don't even know better. They don't know they're supposed to.
They don't.
Losing.
That's exactly right. They don't know better. Yep.
Yeah, and it's kind of a good thing, which kind of gets me along with the Mariners. I mean, Jerry DiPoto's been making a bunch of moves. If you don't perform over the course of like 3 days, you're gone. You're going back to the alternate training site, and somebody else is getting a chance. You got Dylan Moore, who got brought up, who's been killing the ball, absolutely killing the ball for the Mariners. And Kyle Lewis is still batting over 300. He's kind of, like I said last week, he's kind of dropped down. He's batting like 315 or something like that right now.
Right.
But he's still. His OPS is like 950. So.
Yeah,
I'll take it,
Well, the Yankees still have a better record than the Mariners, okay?
They do. It's true.
So
today the Yankees have a better record than the Mariners. We'll see how it goes at the end of the season.
They do. They do.
Only by let's see, a game and a half. By a game and a half right now.
I see that. Yeah, but so I just knocked on all the wood. It's fine.
Knocking on all of it.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
but
you're right. 2 weeks ago, we were like, okay, here's what's going to happen. And now nothing makes sense again. Mm-hmm. I feel like we said, there are 27 games left or whatever when we talked.
Yeah.
And now what? How many games do we have left? Like
11.
17?
11?
11?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
The A's are 25-14, playing a game right now. 25 plus 14, that's 39, right? No, sorry, 21 games to go. 21 games to go.
I was like, Brad, it can't be 11. I know I don't have math skills. I never have. Everybody leave me alone. But I know it's got to be more than 11.
21 games to go. Well,
so 17 wasn't far off, okay?
Yeah, yeah. No, I did the math earlier today, and I was counting to see how many games the Mariners would have to win to catch the Astros. Like how many each team is probably going to win, and it was I figured that the Astros are probably going to win 11 games to finish out the season, and that's I don't think that's sweeping anybody. That's just splitting some series, but I think that's where 11 comes from. But anyways, no,
Fine.
I mean, it's insane. 21 games to go, which is the sprint of the sprint. That is the home stretch. But the problem that I have, I mean, last week I kind of talked about how the Yankees are having a hard time, how they stink, and they've reached the point of excuses. Because I was ready to come on this week and be like, you know what, I was wrong. The Yankees don't stink. They're going through a rough time. You know who stinks is the Red Sox, but
they stink.
They stink, yeah. But at the same time, though, the fact that the Yankees have reached the point of excuses where they're saying the lighting was bad the other night. That's why they lost to the Blue Jays. Like, no, it wasn't the lighting. You got tagged for like 10 runs in one inning. That's why you lost, not because of the lighting. Because the Blue Jays are playing under the same lighting, and you were playing on the same lighting all game long. It was just a bad inning, and that's the way things go.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point of excuses, to me, that's a losing team. You're a loser if you're making excuses about that kind of stuff.
Whoa!
I'm just gonna say it. Just gonna say
Listen. I had a full body yes is what happened. That's why I said whoa. I was like, whoa. I felt the weight of the truth there, because you're right. It comes down to mindset. That's what everybody talks about, Yankee magic, and that's what it's all about. It's this tenacious, resilient thing. Yeah. And they don't have that right now.
No.
And I don't know why. I can't figure out why. Some guys do. Luke Voigt's a decent example, right? I mean, the guy's killing the ball. But, you know, he can't do it all by himself, and he's not. Right. But, you know, I don't know. They're in a free-for-all, though. Yeah. Free fall. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
You're right.
It's that old Dana Carvey, George Bush. Yeah. I said the economy was in a free-for-all, wasn't in a free fall. It's in a free-for-all. Not prudent. Not going to do it.
I haven't thought about Dana Carvey's comedy in I don't know how long, but I really am glad you brought it up. I feel like discussing Dana Carvey's comedy and its precipitous decline also coincides nicely with the Yankees' precipitous decline.
See, everything here goes hand in hand. Is how that works. It's how it all works.
Brad.
But
it was really well played.
But anyway, keep an eye on those standings. I mean, it's a day-to-day situation. I mean, minute to minute right now, because like I said, the Yankees and the Astros have a game and a half. Have that wild cards. Well, I guess the Astros are second place, but still they only have a game and a half on the Mariners, and the AL West is going to get a little crazy there with the second and third spot with the way the Mariners have been playing, because it's nuts.
Okay, check this out, though. If you jump over to the National League, let me just read the streak list all the way down, okay? Chicago, 1 win. Cardinals, 1 win. Brewers, lost 2. Reds, lost 1. Pirates, 1-1. Braves, lost 1. Phillies, 1-2. Marlins, 1-1. Mets, lost 2. Nationals, 1-2. Dodgers, lost 2. Padres, 1-2. Giants, win 3. They're the outlier. It's just like the Rockies lost 1. The D-backs lost 3. There you go. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And it feels like it's one of those things where everybody's like, you know what, we've got a shot, because there's just enough wear and tear on the pitchers for teams that are gonna have to play double headers. And I always think of situations like this where teams that shouldn't be winning think they have a chance. I mean, you've seen Cars, right?
Yeah, I see Cars every day.
Oh, the movie Cars, the Pixar movie Cars.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've seen the movie Cars.
So I always think of this. At the end, no, it's the very beginning. The very beginning, when Lightning McQueen gets a flat tire, and then you've got the King and Chick Hicks. They're like, they see that he's got a flat. They see he's got a flat tire, so he can't go his full speed, and they kick it into next gear, and they speed around to catch up to him.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what happens in the standings, is that teams see a little bit of a vulnerability, or they see a team up ahead of them going a little bit of a skid, and they're like, we can catch them. Yep. And then things get kicked into that next gear, and I feel like that's why we've seen some of that madness this season.
Yeah,
And you see it all
good.
the time. Like, you see it in other sports all the time, I feel like. But that's the best like depiction of that idea that I've ever been able to come up with.
No,
So,
that's good. I like that. Yeah, you're right.
all right.
The Brewers DFA'd Smoke and Morrison.
Yes, Justin Smoke and Logan Morrison.
And
couple-
This made you really sad.
Well, no, it didn't actually. Logan Morrison a little bit. I actually like Logan Morrison. He's one of the few players I actually follow on Instagram, like with my personal Instagram. And he's a pretty good follow.
Mhm.
He's a funny guy. I liked him when he played for the Mariners. Good,
Yeah.
not great. Like a serviceable first baseman. Pretty decent hitter.
Yeah.
But Justin Smoke, I was kind of like, he's had that coming because he was so bad when he was in Seattle. And then he goes to Toronto, and he's an all-star for a season and played pretty well there. And I was just like,
Yeah, he did.
who was this guy? I'm like so mad still about it. And then now he goes to Milwaukee, and now he gets DFA'd. I'm like, that's the guy I know. That's the Justin Smoke guy I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that
bad.
made sense. But it's interesting that Trevor Bauer pointed out that both these guys hit homers off him last week, and they got DFA'd like the next day. So
It's a conspiracy.
Could be.
That's the only thing.
could be. He even said in a tweet, he's like, so the moral of the story here is don't homer off me. I was like, all right,
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
right. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Speaking of failing to hit the ball out of the park, let's really quick touch on J-Lo and
yes,
A-Rod
Yes.
still trying to buy the Mets.
yeah, it's
I just don't like it still.
it's still so weird. And it came out today that J-Lo has said that she would be basically the controlling partner of the group. That it wouldn't be A-Rod, and they're thinking that that's going to give them the bump that they're going to need to get the team. But I mean, A-Rod said that he thought that the negotiations were fixed because who's the shoot? I had it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember the other guy who's been negotiating by the Mets. He's actually within the organization. He's got considerably more money than they do because he's worth like $17.3 billion. So I feel like whatever they're going to offer, he could up it, because they're only going to be able to offer so much because she's a pop star actress, and then they've got a bunch of athletes in their group.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's Cohen. What's his first name? Can't remember. I've got it. Maybe.
Joel, Ethan.
No. Nice try. Anyway.
You loved that. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Shot it. Steve Cohen.
That's what I was going to say that next.
Oh, were you? Okay. I believe you.
Sure.
So he's offered. So how about this? He's offered to buy the Mets for $2.35 billion. The negotiations have kind of gone behind closed doors. A-Rod's saying that he believes that the sale is fixed because of this, but really what it is it's kind of like an inside hire. He's selling. They're looking to sell to it like an inside person, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's like optioning.
Yeah. So says he's worth $14.3 billion. He's going to have way more money than anybody else. He's already a minority owner. So I don't think that J-Lo and A-Rod have a chance here. And I don't think they should, because I don't think A-Rod needs to own a team. He needs to stay in the announcer's booth.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Yeah, he's too good at that. He shouldn't be an owner, because I don't think he'd do.
Yeah,
do very
he
well
is
at
too
it.
good.
So,
Yeah.
but anyways,
Well, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the New York Yankees, Mount Rushmore.
hey babe, I'm headed to concessions. Do you want me to grab you something?
Yeah, anything, whatever you're getting.
Okay, I saw a burger. I'll probably grab that.
No, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, I think there's barbecue, probably some nachos.
I don't think I want either of those either. But just get me anything.
What do you want?
I saw a hot dog earlier.
Okay, I can do that.
Well, no.
Couples may quarrel, but baseball is for lovers. Shop the Lovers Collection at 9plusus.com.
All right, baseball family, welcome back. For those of you watching, you see I'm still drinking Moxie and Brad is not. And for those of you listening, now you know. So, it's very exciting. We are going to talk about the New York Yankees. And typically I really revel in this topic for obvious reasons. However, today's episode is filled with pain on so many levels. First, because of the free fall that Brad just decided to pick up and throw at me. And then now Brad has asked me to come up with whom I believe are the 4 best players in the history of the franchise. And that is equally painful experience because I don't know how you come up with only 4. Though I did.
Yeah.
And don't judge me. So,
well, that's why we did 4 instead of like 10 because it's difficult. There's a challenge there. I wanted to challenge your brain with this break.
Well, you got that taken care of.
Did it?
Like the only way you could have made it harder was to involve math. Oh wait, that's what statistics are.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway. All right.
So what we're gonna do, like Brad said,
ahead.
is we're gonna set this up. The 4 best players. Brad's got his opinion. I have mine. I'm gonna be right. He's gonna be wrong. Stay tuned for more. Just kidding. All right, Brad. How do you want to break this down?
Let's go ahead and do 2 each, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll do the last 2.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. I can split things in half with my math, so that much I can do.
That's a little advanced for me. So, but otherwise, that's fine.
Division and fractions, and I don't know. All kinds of things.
Do it, Brad. Do the voice, Brad.
Division and fractions, all sorts of calculations. I don't know.
Yes!
Oh, boy.
I love it when you do that. All right. I went from being in pain to now I'm happy and in pain.
All right.
So
good to hear. Good to hear. All right, Brig, go ahead with your first. Who you have? And this is in no particular order. This is just if you had to make a Mount Rushmore of Yankees, it would be your 4 that would go on there.
Oh my word.
Okay, we're not ranking. It's just 4. 4.
I mean, we're ranking a little bit though, but stop. Okay. Here's the problem. So I asked myself, all right, my first 2 answers, we'll get to those in the next segment. Those were easy, right? I was like, oh, this guy and this guy, got it. No big deal. But then filling this number 3 and number 4 slot, and I know you want them to be on an equal plane, but you can't because 1 and 2 are so easy. So,
okay. Yeah, all right.
So then I'm like, all right, I already have 2 position players. Do I need a pitcher? Do I not? Can I? Traditionally, the Yankees haven't had tremendous starting pitching. We really only have had 1 really excellent reliever in the history of the franchise. But that was really recent, so it's like, is that a disservice to all the other position players who came before Mariano Rivera? It's like, well, I don't know. That's an impossible equation to solve. Anyway, so I went with Joe D. I went with DiMaggio. He is on my Mount Rushmore of the New York Yankees.
That was the one that I was going to go with first. So,
well, shut up. Are you serious?
True story. Yep. Jolton Joe.
Jolton Joe. All right.
I got him.
All right.
So, let's talk about him.
325 average with his time in New York. He only played for New York. So it was 1936, 1951. 325 average is fantastic. And 361 home runs, 1,537 RBIs with a career WAR of 78.1. It's insane.
Yeah, that is.
78.1 is only bested by the other names on my list. Okay, just to give you an idea. It's rough.
Well, these are some of the things I looked at. He's got 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
He led the league in home runs in 2 seasons, a 977 career OPS. That's outstanding.
God, for sure.
Somebody hit that for their career. I mean, every year he played, he was an all-star. He started at age 21, took 3 years off from military service from 43 to 45, and then Came straight back, didn't miss a beat. All-star in his last season, 51 at age 36. I mean,
at 36. Yeah.
come on now.
Now,
Yeah, and
those 3 years he took off in the middle, it was his 28, 29, and 30th years. Those
which now are your big contract years.
That's right. Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
the prime of your career.
Yes.
So those are big years to miss.
Huge. And then he came back remarkably unharmed. I mean, remarkable. Come on.
Yeah.
Given the gravity of the situation, that is
Right.
insane. So, yeah. His rookie year, 323 with 29 homers and 125 RBIs. His rookie year.
Yeah.
That's millions of dollars in contract money.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, his rookie season, he finished 8th in the MVP, and I mean, the big thing is the hit streak. 56 game hit streak came to an end July 17th, 1941.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that he was 26 when he did that, that's amazing. I mean, he was just from start to finish, he was a great player. I mean, his last season, obviously at 36, was subpar by his standards, but his standards were already set so high that I wouldn't say it's below average, but I mean, he still hit 263.
Yeah.
So
it's respectable.
It's respectable. It's a good season to go out on. So,
now, he did all this in only 13 seasons as well. That's something worth noting. And then the only argument against Joe DiMaggio is his postseason performance is substandard. I mean, sub-Joe D standards, right? It's not like they're not bad at all. They're just not, 323 with 29 homers. So, but he was part of 9 World Series championships.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
That's 9
somebody to have
in 13
somebody to
years.
have 9 rings in any sport, but especially 9 World Series in that short of amount of time. That's something else.
It's insanity.
And the thing is, with baseball, you've got to have guys around you, and we'll get to that later. But at the same time, the fact that they were able to do it that many times, it's pretty stacked.
Yeah. Let's get to the guys around him right now.
All right. Go ahead with your next one since we both had Joe D.
Yogi Berra is my next one.
Ah, that's my next one, too.
Yo, are you serious?
Well, I mean, I'm obviously super biased.
Yeah, you are.
With Yogi Berra because he's a catcher.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's more famous for his time playing or the goofy things he's said throughout the course of his life. You know, like it's deja vu all over again. There's certain things that we say every single day that I've been saying that my whole life because my dad used to say it all the time. I had no idea. I was probably 20 before I realized that was a Yogi Berra-ism. Yeah. So, he has all sorts of funny, goofy things, and that may be from so many years of catching. I don't know, but
probably. I mean, he's probably just a goofy guy all around. But so, career with the Yankees, 1946 to 63. Okay, back off. That's a really long time. And then,
especially for a catcher.
Yeah, no joke. 280, and he maintained a 285 average throughout the entire career.
Which is, I feel like, really good for a catcher back then. Good for a catcher now, but it's not a position that you typically expect somebody to hit above 275.
Yeah,
if you're hitting 250, okay, but yeah, a 285 lifetime average as a catcher is pretty good because you're dealing with so many other things. Maintaining a swing and a scattering port on opposing pitchers, is a lot to go into.
It is a lot. Well, and he had 358 home runs, 1,430 RBIs, career WAR 59.5, and that's also astronomical, especially, again, given the duration of his career because he played forever. So
he did, and the other thing too that sticks out to me with Yogi Berra compared to with the position is he had 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
No other catcher has ever had 3 MVPs. I mean, you've had guys like Joe Mauer, Pudge Rodriguez, who were in the upper echelon of players, period, during the time that they were playing, but they weren't. And same thing with Buster Posey.
Right.
But they they didn't have the sustainability of their performance to win 3 MVPs, and his was stretched over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 3 MVPs in 5 years, and he finished top 5 those other 2 years, and then 1 year before his first one. So, and then he's runner up the year after he won his last one.
That's
so
right.
That's like, gosh, that's 7 years of
as an MVP
not just
candidate.
a dominant catcher, but as a dominant player. It's amazing.
Right, and not just like you said, not just a catcher. Now, there were only 3 seasons he played in which he was not an All-Star. Only 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's
first
shocking.
2.
First 2 in his last
4.
one.
4 technically. Because the 1965 season probably doesn't count because he played 4 games with the Mets was all. And that might have just been a cash grab on the Mets part.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with.
But 3 seasons with the Yankees where he wasn't an All-Star.
I'm just talking about his time during his when he played for the Yankees.
Yeah.
10 World Series championships. So that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. Yogi Berra, arguably, I mean, I don't know if I'd put him as the best catcher ever just because of his time period. I don't know if you took Yogi Berra in his prime and brought him to the current major league with the speed that you have on the base paths now, how he would do, or with the kind of stuff pitchers have now. I don't know how he would do, but I feel like somebody like Johnny Bench might translate a little bit better because he's more of a contemporary, but at the same time, I don't know how well those guys would translate.
Okay, you ready? I'm going to transfer some of this for you.
Okay, go ahead.
His 1,430 RBIs is the most in MLB history by a catcher, still.
I believe that, yeah.
And only Mike Piazza, Johnny Bench, and Carlton Fisk have more career home runs than Yogi Berra. That's it in that position.
Yeah, and part of that goes for longevity, which is saying something, like I said, for a catcher.
Yeah.
Because the position is brutal on your body, not just your knees, but your entire body. And
but then to maintain an effective swing, not just an effective, serviceable swing to put it in play, but this guy was cranking them out for his whole career, and now he's on a list where he's top 4 of all time catchers with home runs.
So
it's crazy.
His last season with the Yankees, where he was not an All-Star, he still hit 293 over 64 games.
Yeah,
with 8 home runs.
Yeah.
That's 1 home run every 8 games.
Yeah.
Quick math for you.
Right. Thanks, Brad.
So
check out the big brain on Brad.
Calculations and computations on the fly.
Oh, good. So I can't believe we overlapped so hard again. I love when we do that.
Either.
We do it every time. At least something. Now
I'm worried
twice.
There's only going to be one where we're not going to overlap on this.
I do too. And I think everybody knows the other one we will overlap on, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will continue to just drool over the Yankees' history.
Welcome back, baseball family. All right, let's get into the last little bit of our Mount Rushmore. Brig, should we do...
Yes. I was going to suggest the same thing. I already know what you're going to say.
Go ahead.
You're going to say, should we do the one we both know?
Yeah.
We're going to agree on first. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, then we can debate a little bit at the end.
Yes! I knew it! Also, would like the listeners and viewers at home to know I'm going to take my last sip of Moxie. I saved it for this segment to rub it in Brad's face one more time.
I'll take one more sip of my unnamed drink.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
Let's do this. All right. Let's set it up first. Let me set it up first.
All right.
Okay. Check it out. This player, in only 14 seasons with the club, averaged 349, 659 home runs, 1,978 RBIs, with a WAR in those 14 years. Sit down. 142.6. Yeah. Anybody want to take a guess? It's Whitey Ford. No, I'm just kidding. It's it's the Babe.
The wimpy deer himself.
That wimpy deer.
Yeah.
The Colossus of Clout.
The Colossus of Clout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for repeating it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You have to.
You have to.
Even if
Thank
nobody in the same, like, even if there's nobody in the area who's going to repeat it, I'll repeat it to myself.
Me too.
every time.
I'll say the Colossus of Clout, and then I'll look around, and you got about 0.5 seconds to say it. And if you don't, then I'll go, the Colossus of Clout. And then I'm done having the conversation. I'll just leave. I'm clearly not with my people.
Do you ever say to yourself, shut up, Tommy?
Yeah. Nobody puts Briggy in the corner. All right. Here we go.
All right. Okay.
So,
right.
Baby Ruthie is definitely at the top of this. Whoever she is. She's definitely... This is way too much fun.
But anyways, so I mean, so I've been on the record as saying that I believe Babe Ruth is overrated, but that is only by standards of comparing him to today's game. His dominance in his game, which is really all you can ask for as far as like somebody being the greatest, like I'll be honest with you, I don't truly think that Babe Ruth is overrated. Like I don't truly believe that. Like I said, it's compared to today's game, I think he would be an above average player. However, his dominance at the time and the way that he played the game and changed the game forever and was just this mythical character who the only way people knew about him, I think people are going to start doubting that my unnamed beverage is not an adult beverage. I think that's going to start happening.
I'm there with you. Yeah. I don't know what they put in this Moxie, but I'm giggly.
But
thanks, Bill.
Babe Ruth was this mythical character who nobody got to watch on TV. If you saw him, it was in real life. And then you were getting what happened relayed to you by a creative writer who was a journalist saying, he was the biggest man on the field. His home runs were colossus and towering and had 600 feet. You know, like that's the way that the message was conveyed, and that's part of the reason of the mythology surrounding Babe Ruth. And the only way you can describe him is godlike.
Well, he was larger than life in every way.
Yeah, he was. What was it? More than a man, but less than a god is how they describe him on Sandlot.
Yeah,
which is probably real. But yeah, I mean. It's amazing because he was unlike anything anybody had ever seen to that point. He completely changed the game, ushered out the dead ball era, ushered in, it wasn't launch angle at the time, but that's really what it was. Let's try to hit the ball over the fence because I can. Why not? So.
And the journalist you were referring to was probably Red Smith, by the way.
And he probably talked like this, see?
No, but he was a terrific sports writer. If you haven't read Red Smith on Baseball, you should. It's a compilation of his best baseball writing columns. He wrote columns for a long time. And it's a really hard book to find. I found one a couple of years ago. Anyway, it's terrific. If you get a chance, get your hands on a copy. But especially if you're into sports writing, like we are.
Yes,
all right,
we are.
moving on. So now listen, I think this speaks for itself. I mean, we could continue to back this up. We're all a little shocked that you now are taking the position that he's not overrated, because that makes my heart happy in ways I don't think you'll ever understand. I've just been waiting for you to recuse your previous position. And now I feel so vindicated, and I'll never ask you for anything again. But
all right, okay,
just kidding. That
Take
is
my
a lie.
headphones off.
That
We'll call it right there.
Thanks, baseball family. For The cool thing about the Babe is that his postseason game did not flag at all. Right, like he was he was the same player largely throughout the regular season as he was in the postseason, of which he had plenty of experience.
Well, I
Or
mean,
through which.
so let's put it this right here for just a second, okay? I mean, this stat alone, I feel like stands for what you just said. So he had a career OPS, highest career OPS ever, by the way, of 1.164. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in 10 years in the postseason, career OPS 1.214.
Jeez.
So somebody who's dominating pitching in the regular season got better in the postseason. Like,
I mean, it's amazing.
how often does that happen?
It doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen.
yeah. It's because usually somebody like that, their numbers might be watered down in the regular season, but no, it was just, this is who I am in the regular season. Oh, it's postseason, kick it up a notch, boom.
Kick it up.
So
It's amazing.
it's unreal to see that, and to see that was something that went on with somebody who has one MVP award.
Yep, just one, and I can't figure that out, honestly.
I think it's just I just think he's a victim of his time. That I don't know if they necessarily either A, voted for it every year, or B, there was voter fatigue. Like, well, Babe is obviously in a league of his own.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's bring somebody else in here who can.
Yeah, but what's interesting is they don't do that as much now, and they should.
Right. I mean, there's a reason Mike Trout is first or second every single year, because he's better than everybody else. He's in a league of his own. And, you know, voter fatigue is a real thing. You see it in the NBA, you see it in the NFL. But I don't feel like you see it quite as much in baseball.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. Interesting stuff.
So the Babe's got to go on the wall on this chiseled, mountain thing we're building here.
Yep.
The next one, though, is up for debate. And this is the thing. I guarantee we're going to disagree on this. Brad, I really want to know who you have.
Okay. My number one. Well, I guess I shouldn't say number one, because
the
we're
remaining slot.
My fourth person to go on my Mount Rushmore, and not, like I said, out of any order, is the top number one comparison for a certain type of hitter, and was a 16-time All-Star over an 18-year career.
Okay.
Mickey Mantle.
Career 18 years with the Yankees, or 18 years?
18 years with the Yankees, Mickey Mantle.
So the Mick.
So I grew up, I mean, everybody pretty much grew up watching TBS, so you got to watch like Braves games, right? Just about no matter where you lived, if you had cable. So I grew up a huge Chipper Jones fan.
Yeah.
Loved Chipper Jones. And I remember every time he hit home runs along the way, because he's a switch hitter, in his career, it was always like, oh, he's this many behind Mickey Mantle at this point. Mickey Mantle is the standard. I guess not the standard, but like top level for switch hitters, because he was so good. And I feel like anybody who can lead the league with 37, 52, 42, and 40 home runs, that's a switch hitter. I mean, come on.
Seriously.
I can't even hold a bat left-handed. I can't even hold a bat left-handed, much less swing one and hit a home run. Like, to be able to maintain both swings through the course of your career, and still at the end of your career, when you're 36 years old and you don't have the training, nutrition, and everything that players have now, and you're hitting 18 home runs over 144 games, that's unreal to me. So, I mean, the guy had a career OPS of 977. Again, that is very, very good. If you're pushing 1,000 on your OPS, like, come on, that's awesome.
Seriously, it is.
Especially as a switch hitter, because switch hitters typically are guys who they just kind of bring something different, right? Like, okay, like I can sit on the left side of the plate and face a righty. Typically, they're more dominant on the left side because you see more righties. And then you go over the right side when you happen to see lefty, and you're just fine. But I mean, it's unreal to me that somebody can do both sides and be as strong a hitter as Mickey Mantle was. So I've got to put him on Mount Rushmore, because I mean, like I said, it's something that I can't even fathom doing. I tried several times to become a switch hitter growing up because I thought it was awesome. Wanted to try it. Like I said, big Chipper Jones fan. And
Yeah.
also, I wanted to have that sweet left-handed swing where when you hit it out, you can kind of strut a little bit like Griffey.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't do it. Could not do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I hand it to switch hitters everywhere, all the time, and
You have to.
and especially a guy who won 3 MVPs. I mean, that's awesome. So Mickey Mantle is my final member of my Mount Rushmore. Who you got, Brig?
Well, I can't tell you it's not a tremendous selection. You made all the great arguments. However, I think that my selection is better, and I'll
Naturally.
tell you why. I suggest you let this marinate for a minute.
All
Okay,
right.
so this guy played 16 years with the Yanks. 16.
Mm-hmm.
340 average over that period, 493 home runs, 1,995 RBIs. Okay, a WAR over that 16-year period of 112.4. 112.4 WAR, which is, again, insane.
Mm-hmm.
This man, Henry Lou Gehrig, played 2,130 consecutive ball games. Now, just like you and the comparisons with Chipper Jones, Mickey Mantle, watching this growing up, I had the same experience with Cal Ripken Jr. chasing Lou Gehrig's Iron Horse record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was the same thing. There was always this parallels, always the comment. Lou Gehrig was always in the headline right beside Cal Ripken Jr.'s name. He
Yeah.
had to be.
Yeah.
And it was just like you said with those two, it was undeniable. And so I know this is a nostalgic choice for me. I understand that I have a lot of really personal reasons that I love Lou Gehrig. But I mean, check just his stats alone are absolutely insane. 2 MVPs, 27 and 36, and in the top 5-6 other seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then check this out. So his career average was 340, but in the postseason he hit 361. Just this postseason time, his average went up to 361. That's over the course of his career.
That's even with 119 at bats.
Yep.
That's insane.
And it's insane. And six rings as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, come on. It's an undeniable thing
Mm-hmm.
on the field. Then you take all of the implications, cultural, you get ALS and his legacy with battling the disease and the inspiration he continues to provide every day for people battling not just ALS, but any disease, anything that is debilitating and keeps them pinned down. And he becomes this tour de force, this cultural icon of resilience and motivation and dignity and honor. And you think, like, look, if you haven't read anything about Lou Gehrig, you have to. Because everybody that talks about him says that he was humble and quiet and dignified, and everything he did was with care and consideration for other people. I mean, you cannot have a better cultural figurehead. You cannot have, I don't know. I just think that if we're going to put somebody on Mount Rushmore, this man transcends baseball. And here we are, decades and decades later after he passed, and he still inspires people. I mean,
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with baseball.
Right. Yeah, and that was actually one of the things as I was going through, I guess like we said, the first 3 were pretty easy, at least for me.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
knew going into it I was going to have Yogi Berra, obviously Babe. But for me it came down to between Mickey Mantle and Lou Gehrig. Like I almost went with Lou Gehrig because everything you just said, his legacy transcends the baseball diamond out to everyday culture. So I totally get it. I think it's a great selection because, like I said, I almost made the same one. We almost had 4 for 4, which I'm glad we didn't. But for me, Mickey Mantle, I guess the name resonates with me as far as the switch hitter and it's such an accomplishment. So I think either way you can't go wrong. And the thing that is so cool about this is you look at the list of Yankees over the history, that Mariano Rivera is the 10th best Yankee ever as far as WAR goes.
Yeah, he is.
Like, that's just insane to think about, that somebody who was lights out, that his walk-in music was Enter Sandman, because it was like good night, game over every time he came in. He's the 10th, considered the 10th best Yankee, and it's just because he's a closer. So
right, and he was a closer.
yeah.
But then again, we have to talk about his ability to remove innings.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So that's the magic, is that the other teams just didn't get an opportunity to play full 9.
It was an 8-inning game. It was an 8-inning game with Mariano Rivera for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, and that's amazing. There are other names, and that's the problem with trying to pick 4. But like I said, we're going to do this with every team. It's going to be very exciting. Before we go, I have a baseball memorabilia moment for us.
Let's do it.
Are you ready for this? It's on theme,
ready.
Actually. So, Brad, did you know that you can buy a 1930 payroll check?
Oh, really?
Not only made out to, but signed by Lou Gehrig himself.
Oh, wow.
I know. Fully certified authenticity by there's a couple of agencies that do it really, really well, and this one is by James Spence Authentication LLC, and the check is also signed by Jacob Rupert and Ed Barrow of the club, and it's got the hole punches in it and everything. Okay. Now, the check is made out for a total of $2,292.47. That's oddly specific, and I really like that. I think.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that salary. So here's what it says on it: salary June 16th to June 30th. Then it includes guest dining room, and a Cadillac. So we probably got a ride somewhere, and then another guest dining room in this particular hotel. The charges for the ride and the board were, or the room rather, $295 and $270 respectively. So that added up to $5.65. Yeah. It's neat. This whole thing is neat. So it's two-sided. That's the difficulty here. It's two-sided. So you have to look at it in a plastic sleeve to get the full story. But Brad, what do you think this is going for? That's the question.
Oh my goodness. Definitely more than what it's written for, I would say.
Sure.
And the thing that's cool about that is that it gets a little bit of a peek into a day in the life of a big leaguer.
Yeah.
You said it was 1930?
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool. And gosh, I don't even know what that would go for. I mean, I would venture a guess of probably around I'm going to say 40,000, Bob.
Well, that's exceptionally high.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting because every time I look at these baseball memorabilia things, I always do the same thing. My knee-jerk reaction is to overprice everything. And then I look at it and I think, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, part of it is because the people who collect this stuff, money's not an issue for them, so it's like, whatever. It's just money. It's just money. But
I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm getting there. No, I'm just kidding. Getting there in my head. Anyway, I don't know. All right, so the minimum bid is $7,500.
Okay.
Or excuse me, $7,500. And the current bid on this particular, 5 people are bidding on it. There are 11 days, 21 hours, 55 minutes, and 30 seconds left on this particular auction. 5 bids. Current bid is at $9,500.
Okay. That's I mean, I
That's
guess that
pretty
makes
cool.
sense because it's kind of an obscure item.
Oh yeah,
For
sure.
But
But it's neat.
It is neat. It's very cool. Like if I went into somebody's office and they had a bunch of stuff and they said, "I got a payroll check from Lou Gehrig," That's pretty cool.
1930, and you're like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's
I like
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was neat. Kind of went outside the box. Not a signed baseball, but
Yeah. Right on.
yeah. There's our memorabilia moment for this week.
Yeah, right on. Well, Brig, you want to wrap us up?
Shaw in tape, bro. So listen, baseball family. I don't know what that means. Baseball family. I just want you to know I'm wearing my Baseball Together podcast logo hoodie today in red. We have more of your cold weather gear coming. There is some on the website right now at 9plusus.com. It's NINEPLUS.com. Go get yourself something nice. It's getting cold. I've been thinking a lot about our friends in Philadelphia and in Chicago and even our neighbors in the Great White North that are now in Buffalo. We're very excited that you're here, and we have cold weather gear for you and your baseball pleasure. So jump on the shop. More is coming. If you want early access, discount codes, etc., you got to join the VIP group on Facebook. It's the 9plusus VIPs. If you find our page that is open and then you go to the groups tab, you can request access, and we'd be happy to let you in. Right now we're running a tournament, which is actually just vicious about the the best baseball films.
Yeah,
and
it's a little bit heated. A little bit heated.
It's cutthroat. Yeah, it's not even. It's very unpleasant actually, but it's about the least pleasant experience we've had on the group so far, and everyone is having a really fun time, but it is very intense.
People care a lot about their baseball movies, I've noticed.
I do too. And if you don't think Rookie of the Year has the best soundtrack, perhaps in all of sports film history, I don't understand. We probably can't be friends. I told somebody that on the group a couple days ago, and I was like, sorry, man.
Well, what was it somebody said? They said something about how Rookie of the Year was like they need to be broken into serious and comedies.
Yeah, that's.
And
I think Denise said that, right?
Yeah, and he said, I don't know how you can't take Rookie of the Year seriously.
I did say that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
But
It's very serious to me.
Typical Brig comment about Rookie of the Year. Very defensive. Very defensive. But don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. Find us on social media. I've got all the links down in the doobly-doo. I've overhauled the doobly-doo on every podcast platform, YouTube, wherever you get the podcast. So you can find all our social media there, all the links to shirts and the shop. Don't forget to stop by there, like Brig said. And Baseball Family, we will catch you next week.